Thanks for joining us again on this week's Hawk Talk. Before we get into the football action, just want to give a shout out to the women's basketball team who almost spoiled North Dakota State University's Shields Center home opening contest. The Lady Blue Hawks had the Lady Bison on the ropes, up 2 in the fourth quarter. Weren't able to hang on, but it was a great performance by the ladies. But now we'll transition back to football with Coach Stanton. Coach, the definition of a trap game would be that last week against Jamestown. Jamestown's playing good football, won 3 in a row. Blue Hawks obviously have something hanging in the balance, with the playoff bid. But the team did everything you could ask for in that first half, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and we had talked about it last week as well. But we knew once where the rankings were they were 2 weeks ago that every game was a playoff game, and the start of our playoffs was Mayville, and we took care of business there. And I was really happy with the way our guys approached the Jamestown game. Like I said, it'd be easy to say, hey, we're going to look forward to the playoffs, but we told them there may not be a playoffs. This is our playoffs, and we really responded well. It came out of the gates, and we're really played well in that first quarter and first half.
Defense once again posted another 0. We've talked about that quite a bit, how they've allowed the offense to get off to a good start, and this week the offense did just that, scoring. Talk about the cohesiveness of both sides excelling and how that enabled you guys to run up quite a margin.
We worked really well together, and as you said, defensively we played pretty well in the first quarter most of the year, but we had everything going on both sides. It's obviously a perfect game as far as 6 straight possessions, scoring, and a lot of 3 and outs for the defense, and good field position. The defense worked with the offense on the field position, and our special teams were outstanding. We went down and tackled well on the kick team, and just did really put together a great half.
Now we've fallen in the trap of talking too much about the quarterbacks, but we'd be remiss not to talk about Kaler at 1.6 rushes for 248 yards. But when he springs long runs like that, obviously the O-line's doing good things, but receivers and running backs must be picking up blocks down the field as well.
Yeah, all year long that receiving corps has done a great job of blocking, and we ask them to do that, and we really stress it that we're going to run the ball and we're going to do those things, and that's going to set up you guys catching the ball. But the receivers have done a great job, and you're right, we haven't talked enough about the offensive line. We've been in the top 15 in the nation the last 3 years in rushing, and a lot of it is due to those guys up front doing their job and staying with the blocks. And then of course with our read game, Jamestown obviously gave us some things there, and Kaler took advantage of it. And once again, you can read it as one thing, but you have to have the ability to make those plays too and make those runs. And he did a great job of making those runs in that first half.
Yeah, we got to see a little bit of the 3-headed attack. I guess it's now 4-headed attack when you include Kaler and the 3 running backs in there at once. How nice is it to have that full complement of backs ready to go?
Yeah, it's very, very, very big luxury for us, and I think they've all, the key is they've all been really unselfish about their role, just next guy up, and one of the things too, our offensive coaches have done a really good job of putting those guys in the right positions and having different packaging for all of them. And obviously Trey now is a lot more healthy than he was early in the season, and that's going to allow us to, we still haven't ran him a lot more, but now we'll have that ability down the road to do that and still be able to utilize both Jed and Karsten and with everything that we do.
The second half was a pretty drama-free affair, which is probably what you were hoping for with that 41-7 halftime lead. Just kind of closing thoughts on what happened in that second half, but also wrapping up the regular season.
Well, it was just that fine line, what we talked about with our players and coaches, continuing to play hard, continue to finish the game out in it. But I did tell the coaches, if we're going to err on anything, it's going to err on not getting anybody injured for next weekend, and that was really the plan. So right away we got out 3 or 4 guys, and then as the half went on, as you saw, we were particularly defensively, we had a whole younger crew in that fourth quarter, and then we're able to filter the offensive guys out as well. And we there was no need at that point to throw or do those things. We were just going to grind the clock and still play hard and finish out a great regular season.
Yeah, that win left the Blue Hawks 9-2 in the regular season, and then Selection Sunday rolls around, it couldn't have been too big of a surprise for you to see the Ore Diggers pop up there Sunday.
No, it wasn't a surprise, and just with the way that the NAI has done the first round in the last few years, we knew us in Eastern Oregon were really two of the only schools that could travel by bus, and knowing that they probably wouldn't match up a conference opponent against each other. We kind of had figured that, and there's a possibility of Morningside, but that's kind of we figured it would go that way, and our guys were prepared for that, and we kind of set the table for them on that, knowing that's where we'd be doing is heading to Butte.
Yeah, and that's where the Blue Hawks season ended last year, 44-10 defeat in Butte. They're once again a solid team. They have not lost since week 1. Neither team in this contest has lost to an NAI opponent since week 1. I believe it's 19-0 since that first week. Talk about what they do well. I know they do a lot of things well.
Yeah, they're excellent. They're an excellent team, and offensively they have a lot of great pieces. One, they've got a great offensive line. They've got 2 quality receivers. Their quarterback McQuarrie was hurt last year, although last year when they played with their Wildcat things, that was just as effective.
Sure.
And he's very good, very efficient. 70% efficiency. A lot of touchdowns, not a lot of interceptions. He's very efficient. And then Saraceni, their tailback, does a great job. And they're well coached on both sides of the ball. They have a very good scheme on both sides of the ball. They take advantage of different packages on offense and really throw a lot at you and do it well. And defensively, they're very good as well. They're aggressive, and they come from all different types of angles, and their secondary is very good, and they're just a well-balanced, well-coached team.
Do you think there is some advantage, I don't know if advantage is the right word, but something to the familiarity aspect of going back there for the second year in a row now?
Yeah, we know our way out there, and we have a feel for their team, and we have a lot of Montana guys on our team, and familiarity with a lot of their guys. There's some of that. We just understand how good of a team they are. But we told our guys, and our guys are well aware of. We're just excited to go play, and we said whoever it was going to be, whether it was Montana Tech or Marion or Morningside or whoever, that we're just embracing the opportunity to go play, and that's the way we're treating this out to Montana Tech.
Now, looking back on your scheduling philosophy, like we talked about with regionality, Dickinson's likely going to end up playing a Frontier opponent. Does that factor into the schedule you built this year? With a Montana Western, with a Division II opponent, and with Northwestern College.
Well, I think the biggest thing that factored in was more so that we wanted to step up who we played, non-conference. It would be easy to say yes, we can go play some team that isn't very good and try to go get a win, but our philosophy is we want to make ourselves better as a program, and so that was really the number one goal, to play Western Montana, who's a good team and who's been close to the playoffs here, has a very good team, and Black Hills the same way. So that was really the number one thing. It wasn't so much thinking we'd play a Frontier Conference team. It was more so we're just got to make ourselves as good as we can make ourselves. We played Northwestern, who, and we ended up beating them, and they're 14-13 with Morningside. So, we know we're making progress at the national level, but more so the fact that, we really want to just make ourselves better and continue to push our program to become as good as we can become.
All right, finally, wrapping things up, what are the Blue Hawks going to have to do well to come out on top?
Well, we've got to play some mistake-free football. We've got to take care of the football, and I guess you say it every game. But we have to be able to do that, and we have to be able to limit what they do. Last year they got away with us on some big plays. We started well against them last year, and then they got away and it was 28-14 in the third quarter, and then they hit a big post over the top and to make 35-14, and that kind of put us away. And it's those type of things. They're a very, very efficient team offensively. They're a very good team defensively. We just have to go play our game and take care of the football and just play, and don't try to do anything extra or special, or just doing our job and doing our thing. And our coaches worked hard on a game plan this week, and our guys are ready to go and get after it.
All righty, Coach. Best of luck this weekend. Blue Hawk fans, if you're interested in making the trip west, you can also check out the men's basketball team 90 miles up the road in Helena, Montana, Friday and Saturday evening. And make sure you check out the Blue Hawk football team Saturday, 1 o'clock in Butte. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
It's now time for the Blue Feather feature. The Blue Feather Athletic Association makes it possible for students like the one we have joining us today to come to Dickinson State University, pursue an education, and participate in intercollegiate athletics. This week we're joined by a wrestler. It's almost that time of the year. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Hudson Buck. I'm a senior from Vacaville, California, and I'm a 197 wrestler here.
From California, take us through kind of your interesting journey to DSU.
I bounced around a little bit out of high school. I went to NDSU. I stayed there for about a year and a half, and then I bounced back to the area I'm from, Sacramento City College. We have a bunch of other wrestlers on our team from there. It's a little bit of a pipeline. I came here. I was recruited kind of highly, and I liked the program here, and other wrestlers that I knew were coming here, so it was just a good fit.
What was the original shock value moving from California to Fargo, but then deciding to make that change again when you head back to Dickinson?
Fargo was a little bit different from coming from California to Fargo versus California to Dickinson here. Fargo was a little bit more expensive, and the cold. My parents are from Oregon. I've dealt with snow before, but it was definitely a change of being on my own and having to pay my own bills and stuff like that. And when I got older, I came to Dickinson. I was a little bit more prepared. I was doing a little bit better financially, and it was a little bit less shock value, but it was so small and less things to do. Fargo was similar to where I grew up, whereas Dickinson's a little bit smaller.
You had to go more creative.
Yeah, a little bit more rural for sure. So.
Immediate success, really, when you got into the Dickinson wrestling program.
Yeah.
You've had two national top finishes at nationals. Just take us through the success you've had in the past 2 seasons.
The first year I walked in here, and it was, I was doing pretty well in my junior college season, and I felt strong. I kind of got sick at the end of the season, but I walked in here, and almost everybody I talked to was talking about me being a national champion. It was kind of my season to lose, and I had a little bit of injury, but it was mostly up to my own work. But coach prepared me pretty well, and I had Jesse Hillinger to wrestle with most of the year too. And so my practice partners, John Solano and Lane Overson and such, were a big help preparing me for this season. Little ups and downs is mostly what kept me off the top of that podium. So, and the same last year, I just had a little bit of injury, and the shape. I don't think the injury is what held me back. Is being off the mat with that injury. My shape was not as good as I wanted it to be. So, at the end of the matches, not being able to grind it out was, I think, what kept me off. But we're definitely a success. It's like our weightlifting's good, our conditioning's good, our technique is good. We're ready to go, and that helps throughout the whole team. Having good practice partners makes me better and makes me a sharper wrestler. So I definitely walked in here and I felt prepared, and I was more prepared throughout the year as we went on. So
getting into that team aspect of things, the team's been ranked pretty high this year. Had a nice finish at nationals last year. What are the team goals coming into the year?
Honestly, we just went through our lock-in, and that was a big eye-opener. I think we're hungry as a team. We're a little bit pissed off. Sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. We're a little angry and upset of where we're at. It's like we see ourselves as a top contender, and I think the nation has seen us as that too. And we're tied for 5th right now, but we're 3 points out of 3rd, and there's coaches kept guys out of the rankings. Little wink there, and it's like we see ourselves in that top spot. And this year Grandview is a great team, but they're looking to get knocked off, and we're looking to be that team that does that.
Sure.
I think we're young and we're hungry, and it's like our class. We have really good freshmen and really good seniors, and we're hoping to lead them and have them step up to take that top spot.
Stepping off the mat for a second, you're involved in a lot on campus.
I do.
I know you're a resident assistant. I know you've spent some time in the Student Senate. Take us through the other things you've gotten involved in here at DSU.
Being an RA, I had a great RA my freshman year, Mackenzie Hicks. She's awesome, and I saw that as a good opportunity, and have some cheap housing and help student life and make the campus more of a community. And I try to do that and try to treat my residents as adults and as peers instead of as residents. And as far as that, Student Senate, Simon Root, another wrestler, and a guy, our student body president, is very involved on campus. And you were very on campus when you were president. And I just saw that as another good opportunity, and just to be involved in campus. And not so much like, I'm not like the biggest gun home guy, but I want to know what's going on,
sure.
In terms of that. And then, with the fraternity on campus, and trying to grow that, and with my art and stuff like that. I like to be involved in campus. I like to be a face on campus. It's one thing to go to school and just go through school and be done, but that's not what I'm here for. And this is a nice community to be able to do all those things.
Yeah, I think you've taken advantage of that opportunity pretty well. Your success on the mat speaks for itself,
Yeah.
but Parker, kind of evaluate his performance as a student senator the last 2 years as the student senate vice president.
Yeah, Hudson, he's always willing to give a hand in whatever it is. He does a great job at that. Knows a lot of people on campus, so he's able to give a lot of insight to what's going on. You see Hudson walking around campus, he's more than likely talking to just about every person that walks by. Gets along with everyone. It's good to see people like that on our campus.
I think he's also in contention for best dressed, either on campus or at least in student senate. Always had an interesting outfit at the senate meetings. But let's transition into your goals for this upcoming your final season. Talk about what your goals are, but also the kind of finality of everything wrapping up here, your senior season of wrestling.
Yeah, so I mean, it really does. Last year, one of my good buddies who I went to high school with in junior college and is here now, was All American last year, Taylor Hodell. I had a little bit of talk with him about having your last season be your last season. It's a thing where it hits you like a brick wall and you don't really realize it till it's there.
Sure. And
there is no preparing for it. It's basically like, oh yeah, it's there, and then boom, here. And I've been really trying to make a push for it. It almost makes me more frustrated with what I'm doing, but also makes me more motivated and stuff like that. We just had our 24-hour mat session, I should say, and it was a big eye opener. And it's like I pushed through that pretty hard, and then the week after I was just angry all week because I was hurt and sore and I wasn't given that week. So I'm trying to step that up, and I want to go out with a bang and be on top of the podium. And every year I'm ranked second or first or somewhere up there, and I haven't quite made that step. And this is the big push. We have other guys in that top spot, and it's like we should all be hungry. And I really think I should have done it already. So this is why not now in this last season and go out with what I wanted to do. So.
Alrighty, well, wrapping things up. What's been your biggest takeaway from your experience, your 3 years now at Dickinson, and also what would you tell a prospective wrestler or just student in general thinking about attending DSU?
I think DSU is a great place to be in all aspects. If you want to come for nightlife, that's probably not the place to be. But if you want to grow as an adult and grow as a person and make future decisions, this is a great place to be. I mean, there's people to help you. Being a small campus is totally different than being a large campus. There's always someone accessible and to answer your question, or at least direct you to someone that'll answer your question. And people care about who you are as a person. There's personal connections with people in tons of different offices instead of just my coach and just my advisor. It's like I constantly am talking with professors and students and people that are in charge of different offices, and it's really nice to be at a place where a student can have access and be involved in what's going on higher up as well as at the student level. So if you're coming to be an athlete, I mean, there's stuff that we have here that no one else has in the nation. It's like our machinery is really good. Sometimes we get frustrated with how it's not open late, but I mean, they do it for our safety and stuff like that. So I mean, athletically, we have how many top ranked teams, and academically there's programs that are top of the nation, and it's like we have people here. It's just we're small, so people don't see it. So.
All righty. Well, best of luck. Thanks you
Thanks,
for
guys.
joining,
Appreciate
Hudson.
it.
We hope to see you accomplish those goals and be at the top of the podium.
Thank you.
We'll be back after this, joined by Hudson's coach. We're back on Hawk Talk, joined now by Hudson's coach. Coach, want to introduce yourself?
Coach Schlecht, Justin Schlecht, head wrestling coach in year 2 as head.
Year 2. Talk talk about what the team has done in preparation for the upcoming season. I know there's a lot that goes into both in the spring last year once the season wrapped up, through the summer now into preseason.
Yeah, we've been, we've been working real hard. We got done with the national tournament last spring, got rolling with some of our postseason stuff. Tried to do the best we could to put together a great recruiting class. Got done with our recruiting class, and then did some work, with the guys. Had some individual meetings with the guys, and then got into the school year. Started doing preseason workouts. Got rolling with that. Got rolling with on the mat, getting our mini camp, our mini technique camp in, and doing those things, and kind of just starting to get into rolling on the mat and going every day. So.
It's an interesting dynamic this year when you look at the roster with experience and inexperience. Lots of seniors, lots of 4- or 5-year guys in the room. Can you talk about what the expectation for those guys is and how they can kind of shape the future for the freshmen?
Yeah, I think, developing a good culture in the room is a thing that this program, hats off to Coach O'Donnell, some big shoes for me to fill, but to do that, and have that constant culture in the room of, that work ethic and those standards that everybody has to uphold to, and our seniors are doing a good job of it. Our older guys are doing a good job of it. You're right. We've got an interesting dynamic. We've got a bunch of older guys. We've got a big senior class, lots of experience, lots of talent, lots of hard workers. Got a few juniors in there that have some pretty good opportunities. A few sophomores in there that have some good possibilities, and then we've got a big freshman class. Freshman class in terms of wrestlers, of some good kids and some exciting kids. The seniors are doing a good job of kind of holding that standard and making sure that the freshmen, everybody's doing a good job of holding each other accountable, and the freshmen are making sure that they're doing their job to maintain that tradition and stay right there. So it's a good group. It's been a lot of fun so far.
No, it's not. It's obviously not just about wrestling. They're student athletes, but something the wrestling program has kind of latched onto that's seen throughout the community is the reading program. Can you kind of explain that one and how that helps both the local youth and your wrestlers?
Yeah, so we've been doing the Wrestlers for Reading program for, I want to say it was probably somewhere when I was a freshman in college back in my competing days, so it was probably in that 2002, 2003 range. So we're getting pretty close to 10, 12 years in that range. And so what we do is we put together, we do some fundraising, purchase some books. We purchase one book for every single second grader in the community. We then organize and schedule the time for the wrestlers to go into the classrooms, read to the kids, and then as well hand out a copy of that book. And it's a really cool chance. We've talked about it a lot. The guys get excited about it. Usually about 2 weeks into everybody being on campus, they start asking questions like, when are we reading to the kids? When are we reading to the kids? What book is it? I want to pre-read it. They get worried about nervous reading in front of guys and stuff, but it's a lot of fun and it's a good experience. And over the course of the years, we've gotten some good people that believe in that program. And Diane Dukeshire with Home and Land has kind of the last 2 or 3 years donated the money for those books, and that's a huge help. And then we just get to be the tag-along and get to enjoy the limelight of it. So it's been good.
Now, the competing season doesn't start till the second semester, but
not everybody else is wrestling right now.
Yes,
everybody else is
what I was
wrestling.
getting into.
Okay, yeah. Everybody else is wrestling, and yep, that gets interesting. So
yeah, with that's why the rankings some rankings have already come out. Regardless of rankings, there's high expectations for this team, I'm sure, from the wrestlers themselves. Take us through some of the returners who have the potential to either repeat as All-Americans or get to that stage.
Yeah, we've got a really good group. We're excited about them. We have to realize that what happens on paper isn't what's going to happen on the mat. There's a lot of variables in there. There's too many things to list of what the things that can go wrong and the things that can go right. We need to just do our job, and that's to work hard every day, get better every day, get in better shape, get more technical, make adjustments, keep focusing on how do I get better as an individual, and how do they make the team better as they get better as an individual. And so that's been a big part of our focus is we can look at all the rankings we want till we're blue in the face, but they don't hand out national team medals in September, October, November. They hand them out when it's the real deal, and what happens on paper doesn't mean much. So, and we've got a really good group coming in. We've got some good returners coming back. Our light guys with Bryce Gorsland and AJ Locke, and Kate Coles being a red shirt last year, coming back with some national tournament experience and some good varsity experience. He'll be a big impact in there. Seth Elang at 49, a 3-time national qualifier, and done a great job for us. Some good 41-pounders coming in with some young guys, and a couple of them with some last year experience and stuff. So they'll be beating on each other to find that spot. 57 with Sean coming in. Sean being a returning All American and coming off of a big injury, but he's done a great job with it and really pushed himself through rehab and stuff. So that'll be a big factor there. Got some young guys there in a couple weight classes there. We've got our kick, the football player, who's also the kicker with Cody Johnson. He's also a great wrestler. Him being on the team, that'll be a big factor. A new guy coming in, Jason Zucchini. We call him Zook, but Zook coming in at 74 will be a big factor for us too. Our 284-pounders that have been kind of a staple for us for a while with John Solano and Lane Overson. Great guys, hard workers. Hudson, who you're talking to earlier at 97, a good staple and a good solid foundation there and keeps the room going. A young guy at heavy, and we're working on, just developing that, and I think Ethan's got some good promise. It's a good lineup top to bottom, but there's a lot of variables in there, and we need to make sure we keep grounded and do our job, and that's to get better every day and not worry about what everybody else is doing.
Now there is an opportunity to see the wrestlers in action before season gets started in January. When is the blue and gray duel?
We'll do that December 8th. That'll be the blue-gray duel right before we wrestle. So we will wrestle 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Will be when we wrestle. That'll be our guys wrestling each other in inter-squad duel. But prior to that, Minot High School will be dueling against Dickinson High School, and we're going to do it in Scott Gym. And it's just a good chance to promote the high school programs and do a good job with that. And then on top of it, to give our guys a chance to wrestle a good match.
All righty, Coach. Well, we'll probably catch up with you relatively soon once the season does get going underway. But thank you for joining us this week.
Yep.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
That does it for this week's episode of Hawk Talk. If you want to check out DSU Heritage Foundation.
Yep, for all the scholarships offered for students, it's now open, the application. That's dsuheritagefoundation.org/scholarships.
And to keep track with all the Blue Hawk athletics competing in national tournaments with cross country starting Saturday, football starting Saturday, DSUBlueHawks.com. We'll keep you posted on that. Thanks for joining us this week.